Well, we talked about this a little bit. You mentioned it. Logan Paul's moving to Puerto Rico for tax evasion. Sorry, to lower his taxes. It's not actually tax evasion. But I was so shocked by that because he's so rich already. I was just curious. I'd love to know, like, at what point do you pick it? And he says that he picks Puerto Rico because he fell in love with it on a trip. But then later in the video, he says the number one reason is taxes. If the taxes there were as high as California, I wouldn't go to Puerto Rico.
Of course not. Yeah.
So it's like, how much money does one need before they make decisions based on happiness and not further wealth accrual? I was really surprised to see. I mean, I think he makes 8 figures a year. It's like, if he were going to Hawaii or something, I would understand. Or if he said this has nothing to do with taxes, I might be skeptical.
I just want to learn Spanish, and I like the Caribbean.
The number one reason is taxes. I'm like, man, how much is enough? At what point do you not mind that you're only getting $5 million cash after taxes a year?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%. I mean, dude, I noticed it in my own life. It's if it's not enough today, and to be clear, like after you're surviving and paying rent and not wondering where your next meal will come from. If it's not enough, then
studies say like 50 grand a year or 70 grand a year.
70. But even then, like if it's not enough, then it's never, ever, ever going to be enough. And I wish he seems like a smart guy. So I genuinely like to talk to him. And I think I could get him to recognize that you are focusing on the money that's being taken from you and not the money that you have. And that's a miserable way to live. You're so concerned that you could have had this, that you can't see what you do have. And as long as you live like that, you will be miserable.
Which isn't say to stay in LA necessarily.
No.
It's just to say don't pick your next city with the primary motive being the least amount of taxes.
The truth is you could, he's just going to have more. You could double your business. You could like, what will you have? What do you have today? I understand the feeling of taxes, which is I could have this much. The other thing is, I was like, look, maybe he's taking a principled stand. I was being charitable. Principled stand against the U.S. government. He doesn't like the way that we spend our taxes. Fine. But if you move to Puerto Rico, you should still, as Logan Paul, in my opinion, donate at least 40% of your income, at least, to charities of your choice. You don't like the U.S. war machine. You don't like whatever. Fine. But to take all that, I mean, I don't actually have any distaste, but I would like to say this to him and other people and myself who think about it. Like, you have an obligation, my man. Not only is there this personal, you'll be happier if you focus on what you have, but by God, you drove on public roads and like, you lived in a nation with borders and police and rule of law and courts and all of this shit. And now that you got the bag, you're gonna bail. And is this from a perspective that you built it all yourself because you made these videos on top of an internet infrastructure that was largely funded by like the government?
I don't even know if he would say that or not. He might just be like, I don't care. I'm just trying to get my money.
Yeah, dude, you got to go hang out with some poor folks. And maybe Puerto Rico, hopefully you don't get a mansion
he will.
That completely isolates you from the suffering of other people. But my God, for your own sake and for the sake of the world, like this is selfish at a way that is not good for anybody.
Yeah, I was more just, that mostly it is surprising to me because I think you mentioned this in text. Let's say he doesn't want to go there except for the taxes, right? So he's moving there to minimize his taxes. I understand that his tax burden is higher than people who are middle class, but people who are middle class feel comfortable enough with their monetary situation to pick a city that they want to live in. And the fact that he has more is being translated into losing more to the government, which means he's going to go to a place he doesn't want to live.
Yeah.
That seems like the exact opposite of what you would think. You'd think, hey, I'm getting all the money. Where's the place I want to live most in the world?
Yeah, man.
Absent money. Is it Hawaii? Is it New York? Is it Florida? Is it like, that's where you should be going because you already make millions of dollars after taxes. You did it. You won the game. You know what I mean?
It's funny to be locked into Puerto Rico because of your income. It's like there are people make less money than you and pick where they go, and you have so much money that you can't not live in Puerto Rico.
The freedom, which is the ultimate currency.
Yeah, that's funny.
They have the freedom to live wherever they want.
You have to go to Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Isn't that
It's the dragon. Dude, it's the dragon that can't leave his hoard. He has so much and he grows so big that he can't leave his hoard.
And none of this is a knock on Logan. I think he gets a bad rap. He seems like a smart guy. I'm impressed with what he's built.
Positive regard for him.
It's more this, if that's the number one reason to move, it is quite surprising.
You got to do, in my opinion, some psychedelics.
He's done it. That's the funny thing. He's done it.
you need to do them like now.
Different setting.
And you got to do it in a different setting without your buddies. And you
and
still might move. You still might be like, it's time for a change.
Yeah.
But you will not do it based on tax.
No, and I think he's just going to bounce, get the Mayweather check, and then come back. But the truth is, this guy's got a decade plus of making $10 million a year. This Mayweather thing, it's not some special thing that he can't redo. He's been doing it for years. He will do it for years. This dude's going to be a mogul who makes himself 7 or 8 figures a year for the foreseeable future. So if he doesn't want to live in a place, then moving there for taxes for any bag, even if it's a Mayweather bag, just doesn't matter. Just go live your life and make more money.
But I do want to just emphasize, because I've thought about this. We live in California. We are planning on it for the foreseeable future. We pay the highest tax rate of anyone I know, and I include people way richer than me because they got way loopholes than me. I actually don't think I can find. I don't think I can find someone who pays a higher tax rate than I do.
We're not good at finding tax loopholes.
And I understand the feeling of I want my tax rates to be this high or higher, and I want to see improvements in homelessness. And I want to it's frustrating
how
to feel
California spends their money is bonkers.
So as a vote against the way that they've spent their money, I've considered I'm getting out of here. I don't vote for the way that this is being allocated.
Sorry, I don't think it's a bad call for him to leave LA or leave California. I'm surprised that he's going to Puerto Rico, given that he said the number one motive was money.
And suspicious that he's not going to turn around and donate a ton to charity.
Yeah, if he'd said he just always wanted to live in Latin America or something, and he was going to
I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it if he said that he was moving alone to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Then I at least credit him for saying the truth. Those of you who don't know, you don't pay taxes in Puerto Rico, I believe. There's no federal income tax. Is that correct? And probably what he'll do is stay 6 months and a day and then fly home and then flight for Mayweather and make a ton of $1 million. And it'll be fine. It'll be 6 months. But the general point is, if you don't have enough today, and I'm there, Logan is certainly there, you'll never have it. You will always be focused on what has been taken from you, what you don't have, and you will be poor. The point of wealth is freedom.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I took from it is that the person who just moves to their dream city, because it's their dream city, that person has more freedom wealth than the person that moves somewhere to avoid taxes.
I felt this, and I don't know that I've backtracked. There was a moment where I was planning on leaving my job. I said I couldn't leave, and one of our good friends, Paul, was like, just leave. And I became wealthy in that moment. I was like, I can go anywhere. And I felt rich, and I slept on your floor, didn't pay rent. You know what I mean? Ate 3 protein bars a day.
Yep.
And now, yes, could I have had more freedom to eat different food? Sure, I didn't have that, but I could go where I wanted to go.
Any flavor of protein bar you wanted,
baby. I thought that was good for me at the time. It was not. But yeah, I was free, and then we went to Brazil, and I had to Airbnb my room, but I was free to be in Brazil, and yeah, man, I want that for him. I want him to feel freedom. I want that for more people, and it's just a bummer to get so focused on.
It was funny too. He said one of the reasons he didn't want to leave, and again, I'm really not bagging on the guy. I really do think that he's smart, and it's just interesting to hear him talk. But he said one of the reasons he didn't want to leave is because they just made a new $60,000 studio for the podcast. It's that's not a good reason to stay.
This is
either.
So one of the other things is we had to deal with this is sunk costs.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, I just paid down this house, or I just paid down this, and we
Dude, how about this sunk cost? I just spent 4 years in finance, getting to the highest paying
sleeping under my desk.
That I was 2 years investment banking, 2 years private equity. People were like, dude, just stay another 2 years. Your hours are going to go down, and your pay is going to go up by 30%. You just paid your dues. I was like, well, yeah, but then I have to stay here. I can't be in Brazil starting a business. And people did not understand that sunk cost. They're like, you've done the worst part, so now it makes sense to stay. It's no, in 2013, where do I want to be? Here doing finance, or in Brazil starting a business with 5 friends? That's where I want to be. So the fact that I put this time into it is meaningless.
Yeah. If this is interesting to you, read the 4 Hour Work Week. Again, we don't need to pat ourselves on the back. I am proud that we made those decisions. But the point is, I think for more people to make those decisions.
Well, also, we're not, just to humble ourselves, we're not particularly clever here. It's the 4 Hour Work Week. And then I would also say there's a book, Predictably Irrational, which talks about sunk cost and free and all that jazz. But those are the goodies.
Hard tangent. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.